Welcome to Between the Lines. It's February 1st. We got through the snowstorms. We got where we needed to go, and now we're starting on February. Just a reminder to everybody that we have a primary election in Tennessee coming up on Valentine's Day. Starts early voting. Election Day is March 5th. We have a chancellor's race, and we have a presidential race. So you can vote in either primary. And get down there and vote, but just exercise your rights. I don't care how you vote. Just get out there and vote. Make America great, right, or whatever. I mean that in the most generic sense. Let's keep our stuff going. We have Mayor Warren Gooch. Oak Ridge has been blessed with a lot of good mayors, but it's hard to find one any better than Warren. I always like David and some others, but Warren has gotten things done that nobody else got done. So we're always glad to hear his progress report. He comes out every year. He has created let's say. We don't have a lot of political tension in the Oak Ridge City Council or the Oak Ridge. We all get along. Fleischman does a great job. I think he'll sign off on that. We have good leaders on both parties here locally. So I'm real pleased with the way Oak Ridge is going. I don't do a lot of work in Oak Ridge. I don't spend a lot of time on Oak Ridge, but these guys do a great job. Welcome, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Alan. Glad to be here. And as you say, Happy New Year. We made it through January. It's
with a big storm.
February the 1st, and we've got an extra day to work this month. And
that's right. I forgot about that.
The days get a minute longer every day.
Why do you think leap year was the presidential year? I wondered. Did leap year come first or did the presidents? Didn't we do that in the 30s or 40s or something?
I think the presidential
came first.
Yeah.
And we put leap year on there to buy that time. When we figured out it wasn't working right. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So no, I'm glad to be here. And as I start, let me say a shout out to Brad and Channel 12 for all they do to support the community and how important they are as a resource for our
Absolutely.
community and the people they support, the organizations they support.
Yes.
And I would just encourage everybody that's listening to shop local and support the sponsors of Channel 12, and also you'll be supporting your local communities.
Now let's say this: Channel 12 no longer exists. Let me just say.
Okay.
What is it? What is it, Brad? 1086, right?
1086.
Channel 1080. Put it on the screen somewhere. Channel 1086. But Anderson County Schools is 1085, and there's a lot of nonprofits up there.
Right.
So I think people are watching and learning, but it takes a while. But you're right. I appreciate that.
It'll take a while to get adjusted, but
they'll figure it out in football soon.
That's right.
Brad does a better job than anybody covering football and all the local stuff.
And let me mention one other thing.
Go ahead.
Just on a serious note, and then we can get into public policy. We're very fortunate in this city and in this county, Anderson and Roane, to have had great leadership and great people as civic leaders and political leaders. And while we've lost any number of great people in the last year, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, in the last 6 weeks, we've lost Lou Dunlap, Terry Mullins,
yes.
And then, God bless her, Miss Helen Jernigan, who was a Renaissance woman.
Yep.
All three great friends of mine. I know great friends of yours.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say a word about them and thank their families for sharing them with us in the community.
Yes.
And it's very important to do that.
I was close. I was a good friend of Terry's, and I thought the world of him. Tell me about Helen. Had to be 90.
She was not.
I think
she was either 98 or 99.
Isn't that impressive?
Yes, she was.
She did. Her and Harold both, but she did 30
and
years.
She had multiple careers too.
Yes.
And so both in the private sector and then in the governmental sector.
And thereby comes the word Renaissance.
There you go. That's correct.
That's exactly right.
Correct.
We have some good leaders. And we see a lot of women coming up now. They're getting active. They're doing stuff
correct.
at all levels of politics.
And that's good.
That is good. Young people,
and we need to
get it going.
We need to encourage them and encourage participation not only in elective office but boards and volunteer work. Again, you mentioned the snowstorm, and we can talk about that. But the number of volunteers and organizations that made sure that during the worst storm we've had in 25 years, people had a place to go.
That's right.
And stay warm, get some food, and as a result of their efforts and blessings of God, we didn't lose any Oak Ridgers.
That's a good point,
And
yeah.
that's something that we can all be thankful for.
Absolutely, you're exactly right. And I know there was a lot of, we joke a lot about snow and side streets and me and you and everybody else. But,
Yeah.
it was just we had the capacity of days to be cautious. And we had enough stuff in Oak Ridge School, so I thought it was handled pretty well. I know a lot of people get antsy when their kids are there 7, 8 days, but I thought it was handled pretty well. And I give Dr. Borchers a great deal of credit for his handling of stuff. My son's been yelling for 5 years. He doesn't know what a school day looks like. So now he's kind of in the good graces of the kids for a little bit. So I think he was very wise because, in 3 or 4 days, the main roads were fine.
Well, and
all the side streets
let me give you
were bad.
let me give you little numbers because I think it's important again because it was difficult for everyone. It was a major event over multiple days, and we got the snow, then we got the ice, and got the the cold temperatures. But the city of Oak Ridge has 212 miles of city streets. Okay. In addition to that, we have another 35 miles of state roads, the Oak Ridge Turnpike, from Elzagate out to the Preserve, Illinois, and then Edgemore from the river into Pellissippi Parkway.
It's always related to our plants.
It is, and other things. But,
and other things, yeah.
But the city has 6 scraper trucks. We operated those 6 trucks 24 hours a day for 5 days.
Wow.
In addition to that, our Public Works Department was taking care of multiple water line breaks, which you expect.
Everywhere.
And so they worked in very extreme circumstances, in some instances very dangerously, in terms of what they were being asked to do. And so I just want to give a shout out to them. I know people were, stir crazy by having to stay in, but Public Works, I think, did an outstanding job, and I'm very proud of them.
We didn't get a water break till like 8th or 9th day, like in our neighborhood. And
freezes, then it
water
falls.
Was on 3 hours.
Yeah.
Water's on 3 hours.
Yeah.
They did a great job. Went down and replaced it and got it on. There were some areas that were hit harder, but I think Mayor Gooch makes a good point. The state's got to clear their roads. We can clear our roads, but the state's got to.
But they didn't clear the state roads. We even cleared the state roads inside the city because otherwise you got to request them to come and they do it on their schedule, and we weren't going to wait on their schedule. No. We were out clearing the roads.
I got it. And it was, and I got to work. I go from New York up on Outer Drive to the Y-12 area, and after 2 or 3 days, of course, they were shut down all week too.
Sure.
Except for emergency personnel. So it was kind of interesting.
And another thing, you mentioned water lines, and I'm just trying to put some numbers and statistics for everybody to understand. The city also has 311 miles of water lines inside the city limits. So again, we're glad we've gotten through our winter event. Hopefully,
sole winter event. Right?
Hopefully, it will be the sole winter event.
And it was a bad combination of temperatures and stuff.
Absolutely. That was dangerous.
If that Saturday hadn't happened, we'd have got out of it that weekend.
That's correct.
But it came in, 0 degrees that Saturday.
It freezes everything over. We work closely with TVA. They did a much better job this year than they did 12 months ago with the big storm, and I give them credit for that. They
no blackouts,
no blackouts, no rolling blackouts, and as far as I know, inside the city, we didn't have any even temporary power outages. There may have been some, but we didn't get any complaints about that. And if they were, it was very quick.
I texted my friend at TVA, the executive. I said, "Are we going to get any rolling blackouts?" He goes, "Not this time, smiley face." So I was good with that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So, but in any event, we the city's working on multiple projects. Our new city manager is now Randy Heeman. Is starting his 4th month.
I need to get him on here. Yeah.
Yes, his first day was November the 1st, and we're now February the 1st. He's had dozens of meetings with individuals, with groups, with employers, with employees of the city, major industries, and he's a sponge in terms of learning how Oak Ridge works, getting familiar with everything. He has a tremendous background in economic development. He came very highly, recommended, and
worked in North Carolina.
North Carolina,
last time,
yes,
yeah.
North Carolina, and so we're just really glad to have he and Paula, his wife, here, and doing a great job. And if you haven't met him, you'll get the opportunity to, and I would be very surprised when you meet him if you don't really warm up to him and like him.
And I believe he's the spokesperson at E-Tech tomorrow.
He is speaking.
So.
He is speaking at E-Tech.
If you got a chance, if you're a member of that organization, go by tomorrow and see him. I think he did. I think he'll do well. So you got a new city manager. We're good. Our school's fine. Board, it seems like the management team's pretty in place.
Right. We have a new director of the electric department. Dave Cross came to us from Plateau Electric. Our former director, Art Obai, was hired away from us by our friends at KUB, and so we did an extensive search, and Dave's been with us now, I think, about 6 weeks, and he's an outstanding guy. Was with
Oak Ridge gets good.
Plateau for I think 30 years.
We recruit. We have good opportunities there, whether it's the safety of the city, whatever. A lot of people, they like living here.
And we'll have we will have another change. Judge Bob McNeese, the city judge, has announced his retirement, and City Council will appoint a temporary replacement as city judge, and then that person, if he or she chooses to, will then run temporarily. They have to run in August to have the remainder of the term, and then turn around and run in November.
Let me say about Bob McNeese. Let me talk about Bobby for a second. When I was in college, I was at MTC. I came home, and so when I got started in politics way back, helping Jim Sasser and helping some others. And for my Republican friends, I'm proud of that. And he just was a great guy. But anyway, Bobby always helped me. Bobby always had some counseling. He lived up on Kentucky Avenue in the late 70s. But Bobby was a veteran. He worked with the Army. He was in the reserves. He was a runner. He ran cross country both at Oak Ridge and I believe Tennessee, but it might have been somewhere else. I'm getting old too. But Bob McNeese was an incredible talent. He was able to, he did a lot of things athletically, personally, and same for his wife. We get back to there's Ann, great participant in helping this community grow and to be there for people.
Served several years on the school board. And his father was.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
His father was mayor of
Bissell
Oak Ridge.
McNeese. We switch around, right?
That's right. Yeah, they were.
Bissell and McNeese. McNeese lived on Kentucky, and old Bissell lived right there on Michigan at the top over there on Meadow. So that was the area. And then I had if you went down Moylan, you captured our famous scientists down there. And then if you go over, Lee and Russell lived on Delaware. It's just amazing. The Cedar Hill neighborhood was amazing.
It was
amazing. And then you get into the modern, the Kenny Campbells and the Charlie Ergens and other people that came out of that neighborhood that are just fantastic.
So we're counting history, but it's good for people. It's good for people to remember.
I think it's a source of a lot of the excellence that we have today.
Correct.
Those people developed it.
Set the foundation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we brought people in from all over the world, and they raised the bar, and everything was great. And the city was built by all kinds of people. So,
and speaking of people coming in from all over the world, that's true, and we're still doing that. And I think our population now is right at 34,000.
We're getting up there. Took us forever to get over 30, didn't it, Mayor?
Oh, for years.
Yeah.
For years. And so I think we're close to 34,000.
Thank
we
God
haven't exceeded it. And of course, that's a good thing. I mean, the people are wanting to come to Oak Ridge, and we have to continue to work, on housing and support those who are doing it,
education,
both affordable housing, education.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Oak Ridge Mayor Warren Gooch.
Daniel Forrester has been trusted by Anderson County families for nearly 2 decades. Daniel has appeared in Anderson County Chancery, Circuit, Sessions, and Juvenile Court thousands of times over the past decade. A Rule 31 mediator, Daniel has been trusted to mediate hundreds of cases across Anderson County. A community leader, Daniel has worked closely with local officials to make Anderson County a better place. A conservative and dedicated husband and father, Daniel's faith has shaped his character and integrity. On March 5th, vote Daniel Forrester for Anderson County Chancellor.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Welcome back to Between the Lines. We're talking with Mayor Warren Gooch. 10 years he's been the mayor of Oak Ridge. 10? Well, I don't. 10. We started at 10. I ain't got it. Okay, but anyway, so I asked him, it's been 4, 5, 6. I said, that's how far behind I am. Everything's just roll and roll.
Time flies, right?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. I was like the principal of St. Mary's. I said, you've been gone, 3 or 4 years? Well, she's been gone 6, 7. You know how it works. I can't keep up with it. But in those 10 years, and I have been a part of this since the second time, the early 90s, but in the 70s and 80s, well, I was gone to Pittsburgh for 12 years. But we have had more progress and done better in the last 10 years than we have in any period. I think people tried. I've been over this on the show before. You've been able to remove obstacles where they kind of conceded those obstacles. Nothing against them. And they tried their best to get things done. And I think you could say a lot for David, and you say a lot for Bradshaw, and for Mr. Behan as well.
Tom, no question.
And I think Tom's legacy was housing mostly. But I think yours, economic development-wise, and we've turned the city around and we're moving. The preserve is one example, but there's others, and I think we continue to improve housing and to do other things.
And we need to do that, and certainly there are multiple projects, multiple priorities that we have as a city. We're lucky, fortunate that we have a city council that works very closely together.
So, yeah.
There's real cohesion there, and I've been able to work with them. Knowing what their priorities are, what they want to work on, and spread the workload in terms of getting things done. And they're all contributing in a very major way.
You got some resources. I mean, Sean Gleason. I mean, some of these guys are real superstars, and be able to utilize them where you need to utilize them in different areas. So for them willing to volunteer, that's strong.
But, as far as my priorities for 24. Obviously, I want to see the city continue to grow. We have to keep working on our infrastructure improvements. But the three things that I really want to focus my attention on as I work through it is one, we need to establish priorities in terms of road repair, replacement of streets, get a fund started so that we can,
capital improvement,
regular basis start redoing. We still got streets that, again, are 75 years old.
They finally got Lafayette, New York Avenue up to my house done, that area, and they did some other, but the turnpike was nice. It's been replaced.
That's right. And then next year, the state will start working on improvements to Illinois Avenue, which are long overdue. They do those, but I'm talking about the streets that the city has controls, that we're on a regular basis and trying
like Michigan Avenue,
trying to catch
Avenue.
all across the city, and I want us to really work on that, and I'm going to pay a lot of attention to it.
Let me say something about that.
Yeah.
There's still a split in this town, and I've talked about it for 10 years, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I think there's more inclusiveness now, but there's people that live on that side of the turnpike, and there's people that live on my side of the turnpike. And I'm with the old folks and the regular people.
Yeah.
And then, the joke used to be, you can't get it done in Glenwood, but you can get it done in Briarcliff. But I think I don't hear that much anymore. I think we've made a lot of progress in unifying even the little services that we share.
Well, and we got to keep working at that.
Yeah.
You mentioned economic development. I want to continue to focus on Main Street, further development there, but also the Wilson Street, and because that's going to be our laboratory, if you will, in terms of mixed use, residential, commercial, retail, and the land bank controls about 7 acres on Wilson Street. And
let me tell you, for those that don't remember, Wilson Street runs from Kume or Mr. Gatti's straight down in front of downtown
to
Tulane, which is in front of the city, and over there goes past Oak Ridge Pharmacy and the Mexican restaurant to Tulane Avenue. So that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then Oak Ridge Land Bank is going to go out with a request for proposals, and it'll go out nationwide. I think we'll put it out in either later this month or in March, and get proposals on the 6 acres that we control. The city, when I say control, the city land bank owns, not the city, but the land bank's a separate 301, 501c3 corporation. And get the developer that's chosen to come in and do a mixed-use project that hopefully will spur other development as other owners decide they either want to do something with their property or sell it. And so I think that's again, that's right in the middle of the city. That's not only setting the tone in terms of the city moving, making progress, but also raising the reputation of the city.
And compliments to Rick Chin and his partners. Well, that side of the road has just been fantastic, and they're still building. It looks like the problem I got is where the Art Bowling alleys used to be. You know what I'm talking about? Right over there across from Raleigh. We need to. That's got kind of like a little weed here, a little brick here, and so we need to get it developed. I think from there up to Kume and behind Kume, I think that's the side of Wilson Street that needs the most work.
Well, and then, but again, you got multiple owners.
So I mean, that's. I know how hard it is.
I mentioned in the Chin family. I mean, for years they've helped develop Oak Ridge and
quality office space,
and the quality office space, and now the lofts on Main Street that are just it changed the whole look of the city, if you will, and meeting a tremendous need and demand for residential, and that's it's quality quality development, and they're bringing commercial along with it.
It's a small city. There's like,
yes, it is.
It's like 1,200 people in there.
It's really interesting to me because I don't think a lot of people, including myself, had ever seen a building going up where the elevator shaft was being built.
Yeah.
And so in the new section of apartments, because they were 3 stories, they had to do the elevator. So it was exciting to watch that go.
Exciting
up.
for me. I mean that would be the building I would choose. Of course, in my house we're just adding dogs, so it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
And then the other thing I want to continue to promote. And I've been a supporter of it all along, and that's the Scarborough 85 recognition. And we've done the recognition. We're now moving, and the group is moving toward doing the Scarborough 85 Memorial. I think that is extremely important, and the plan is to do it, in Bissell Park. They're raising money. I think they have a sound plan, and they're going to continue to move forward. And I want to help. I want to help promote that.
Yes.
And I'd like to, because every year we're going to continue. We talked about people that we're losing. We'll lose others, and the Scarborough 85 is just a magnificent story, and one that makes the history of Oak Ridge come alive, and helps us appreciate how far we've come.
And a lot of people don't realize in the 85 and those individuals, because it wasn't full, it was high school integration at that time, right?
It was high school and Robertsville.
And Robertsville. So but people don't realize that was 54. And what happened is that in 66, I was talking this to an alumni the other day, then we had full integration. That came to Cedar Hill, came to Bragg Schools. I think it's a big story. People don't understand it wasn't really a city decision. I mean, they voted and but AEC ran the town. And
that was before the city actually was, the city was created within 59.
The council was there as an extension of AEC to manage things and make decisions and stuff, et cetera. So I think it's a unique story that a lot of people don't know about. We've heard about Clinton for 20 years, and
rightfully so.
And as we should. That's right. But now we have to realize that, hey, look here, 3 years before that, it was happening, but we didn't have the problems because we were a closed city under government. You know how it works. So bottom line is, it's a great story, and I think it's a story that needs to be told. And now we start to create a corridor of history.
That's correct.
And there's a big story here for somebody to make movies and do things.
Well, and the corridor actually runs from Clinton to Oak Ridge, with Clinton 12, Scarborough 85, and through Oak Ridge, past the American Museum of Science and Energy, and to the K-25 Museum, which is fabulous. On the far west end of town.
So it's working.
That's your historical corridor.
Get off 75 and come on through. So that's what we're pushing for anyway. All right, I interrupted you. I apologize.
And again, you said come down 40, come down 75. Oak Ridge is it's the shortcut between the two major interstates in the country.
I will tell you this: there are interested alumni and there are interested federal officials. I think we can get the 85 done with a little work. The people that have gotten it off the ground. You've just got Rose Weaver and others have done just a wonderful job, and it's time to put a little bit of acceleration on it. So we're going to work. Several alumni are going to work on that. What else do you have in there? You were going down the list, and I cut you off.
Well, those were kind of my three areas that I wanted to focus on. Clearly, we've got other things that we'll be doing. The work on the water plant continues. That it should be ready to open in June of 25.
That's not bad. That's only a year away.
Absolutely critical that we got that, getting that thing replaced.
Well, you've been preaching that for 4 or 5 years.
85 years old. The road construction where the new water lines are being laid should be completed by mid-spring. So that road construction, bringing it down Scarborough Road, will be completed. The construction on the site, the plant itself, continues. So, but the last thing we needed to have is a major disruption in terms of water service in a plant that was 85 years old at a time where we are.
You were really worried about that.
I was worried about it.
You called me a lot.
Yeah, and because all we had to do is look around the country at cities, large and small, that lost their water source for one reason or another. Now, the quality of our water has never been an issue.
Right.
But we sure did want to rely on
parts have been an issue. Like when something breaks, we got nothing to fix
exactly
it with.
Right.
You know?
That's
and I appreciate, and obviously we're close, but Congressman Fleischman did a good job on that.
Congressman Fleischman, in terms of getting us EPA grants and other funding, has helped with that tremendously. And that's important.
Yeah, and even threw an earmark in there and a few other things. And I think what really, it kind of reminds me of what you've been able to do with Oak Ridge. He just wouldn't take no for an answer, and he kept moving. And I think we just work well together all across the bases. And
remember, that water plant provides every drop of water to every citizen in Oak Ridge and to every federal DOE facility.
That's right.
And the world's fastest computer is cooled from water that comes from that water plant.
Yeah.
So, it all kind of fits together.
Are we out of the woods yet on the plant? If everything shut down today, are we still using old parts? Are we out of the woods?
Well, we're not out. No, we're not out of the woods yet. But we're making progress, and we're
about a year till we get online.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Brad, let's go to commercial. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Stay with us, Mayor Warren Gooch.
Daniel Forrester has been trusted by Anderson County families for nearly 2 decades. Daniel has appeared in Anderson County Chancery, Circuit, Sessions, and Juvenile Court thousands of times over the past decade. A Rule 31 mediator, Daniel has been trusted to mediate hundreds of cases across Anderson County. A community leader, Daniel has worked closely with local officials to make Anderson County a better place. A conservative and dedicated husband and father, Daniel's faith has shaped his character and integrity. On March 5th, vote Daniel Forrester for Anderson County Chancellor.
We should never lose sight of our health. To keep moving forward, let's not forget everything we've learned. Limit the salty food options. Make your own daily exercise routine. And always receive regular checkups. More than anything, we have learned how important these small steps can make a big difference. So we can all continue to move forward together.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
Welcome back to Between the Lines. We're looking at the City of Oak Ridge 2024 and beyond. And Mayor Gooch is telling us some things that are happening, and we're having a good time. What do you got?
Well, let's swing over to the Civic Center and the renovations that are going on there that are going to expand, about 11,000 square feet of conference room and meeting space. And that should be completed. I know people have seen the construction. Okay. It should be completed by the end of the year.
So I'm sitting in the lobby, looking at the gyms ahead of me to the right, the pool to the left. Where will this be?
It will be, as you come in the front door, it's going to be over to your left, and expanding that, renovating that space, adding space.
Where the rooms are down the left.
And it's going to be outstanding, and it'll help bring conferences, and in additional visitors and give people plenty of room to, to do their meetings, and then we'll contract with outside companies, for instance, to manage it and to do the catering.
And how many? I know we all know what 11,000 square feet is. We own homes, so we can figure that out. Well, how many? What will be the capacity? I booked a lot of conferences. Capacity is what we're interested in. Do you have any idea how many people?
Oh, I think they can. I think they'll be able to take up 400 people.
Wow, that's pretty.
Oh
good
no,
size.
that was the whole.
In the big conference center.
Yes, that's right.
That's pretty big.
So,
that's all you need.
And that also helps support our hoteliers. Not.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
the more people can come to a conference.
That's correct. Right. And then this past Tuesday, we received the report from our consultants on the Oak Ridge pool.
The pool. Everybody's interested in the swimming
Everybody's
pool.
interested in the swimming pool, and there are going to be three options in terms of the pool. The pool is going to stay in its current location. It's not moving.
Need that spring water.
But in terms of well, it's not that cement. That'll have to change. That's an inside joke, yeah. But that'll have to change. But it will be an expensive project. We're going to go through. We're going to go through the options. But it ranges.
Give me a simple rundown, yeah.
Ranges from like 28 million to 24 million to rebuild it.
So how many of the options leave it at the size it is? Zero or what?
The first one would leave it basically at the same size that it is.
But we would repair it.
Oh, absolutely. That's the most. Actually, that's the most.
It would retain its historical look.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct.
What's option two?
Option two would be to. Let's see. Sorry, I should have had that ready. Had that ready.
You gave us so much time. That's good.
So, option two would be the swimming areas would be separated in terms of the lane areas would be one.
Okay,
one
on this
section.
side of the raft. Okay,
yeah, and then the other.
How would you separate them? A walkthrough or?
Yeah,
some
so
kind of
there's
design?
there's the
right.
there's the design.
And what's the purpose? Just to be creative here, or
all to be creative and based on what the input that the consultants received from 500 people, public surveys. 65% of which were Oak Ridgers, 15% Anderson Countyans.
They thought that their younger children need separating or something?
Well, no, in terms of what they wanted to see, in terms of the improvements.
Okay.
And what were the best assets in the pool? But the big decision was keeping the pool where it is and expanding. We have city land around it that we can use to expand. The parking, for instance, to provide more shade, to provide more amenities. And so, we're just, we've gotten the report from the consultants, again, not based on what council said bring back to us. It's what the public has said through public meetings,
I understand
surveys.
That. Citizen input. You went out and got it. You went out
and got it. And now we got to determine how we move forward and what the what the best.
I've been measuring public opinion for 30 years, and I'm going to tell you something. The biggest thing in this decade, in this time, and the successful ventures that I've reviewed and looked at, one of the biggest things is they got to be able to do more than swim. In other words, when you bring people down there and there's this biggest pool in the South in the 70s, the more activities you can create around that pool, the better you're going to have participation.
And again, trying to keep the historic function in terms of the swim lanes, for instance.
Sure.
But I think it's important to know that we, even with the limited time that it's open in the summers because of the difficulty in keeping certified lifeguards in as early as school start.
Hopefully that'll change.
We still have between 30 and 35,000 visitors, to that pool.
Do you know how many people go to the Civic Center? You got a number on that? Just what I was thinking about. When you said 35 to the pool, I'm thinking probably more to the Civic Center, but.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know those numbers.
I just came off the top of my head, you know what I mean?
But we've now done the geotechnical surveys to find out, what's, how much damage has been done under the pool, if it's safe to repair that, which by the reports it is. It's expensive, but that's what you do. But amazingly, every day of operation for that pool, it loses 100,000 gallons of water a day.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Sounds like a lot.
And so it goes somewhere. But
Somewhere.
but again, we're gonna move forward with that, and we've got to figure out how we do it. Economically, what the best plan is.
Yeah.
But determining the location was really important. And
Yeah.
So
very important.
And because again, it has its limitations, obviously, in terms of the location. But again, it is central to the city, and with the fact that we can expand the parking, which is obviously needed, we can do it.
Let's talk about residential growth for a
Sure.
minute. Half of our growth is the preserve, maybe more. So we have a large residential development on the Roane County side of Oak Ridge. How many houses? 800-900 now? It's getting up there.
Yeah.
Beautiful place to live.
With about 3,000 more home sites left.
Yeah. So what growth,
Potentially.
do we have any growth outside of the preserve?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me about that.
We've got. So if you start on the west end and you come all the way, so you've got Forest Glen.
Yeah. That new area is right outside the country club.
That's correct.
Right past the gate.
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you come in and you've got the summit.
Okay.
So you've got new residential up there, some multifamily, some single family. Obviously, we talked about the lofts. You go on out. On Edgemore Road, you've got all the apartments that are being that've been built out there. In fact, the growth out there is so strong that we're going to have to build a new fire station out there to serve that.
Yeah. Which brings us to the point of: are we going to expand Linden School? We're going to build a new one. What are we going to do?
Well, I think the school board and school administration are still working through those in terms of what do we need to do based on their best information, their best projections in terms of the children. And at some point we will have to build another elementary school.
No question
about it.
Well, let me ask you this.
That's a good problem to have, however.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can't have 34,000 people instead of 29 and not pay for it.
Right.
And they'll eventually pay back into it. Let's talk about the Palisades for a second. Okay, I'm thinking of East Side development.
Right.
Could you build another 30 houses in the Palisades if somebody was since me and you and Ernie in the old days, you built the street and you got 40-something houses? Is it landlocked?
There are still a few lots left on the back end, but it's right up
correct.
against the
So you're limited there. I got you. You're limited there. So the question is, where do we build in the east? Yeah.
Well, then you keep going out Rolling Hills. Out of Edgemore, come back in by the golf course. There's building lots there.
Big homes there too.
And then again all the way down Edgemore to Illinois. So.
I've never been to the preserve in the last 5 years, so I have no idea.
Oh, you're.
I was there 6-7 years ago.
I would encourage everybody to go. You hear us talk
used to
about
drive
it,
in,
but until
homes on two sides and it died.
but until you see it, I mean, it's unbelievable with the number of homes, the new marina that they have.
But would you say Centennial and that big area up above there, where Sean and those other people, would you say that's still the most? I don't know what's a good word for it. It's the most exclusive neighborhoods, or does the preserve match that kind of quality of housing?
Well, I think
there's some big homes up there in that area.
There are, and there's a wide range of housing in the preserve.
That's what I think.
I mean, from various price points.
Right.
So that
you
that's
get in
what,
there for $250.
That's what makes it.
300.
That's what makes it so attractive.
Interesting.
But its location to those who are coming in. Either to retire, and there's lots of retirees that are moving here from other states.
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
also with the increase in employment that is going to continue at Y12 and Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
And
see,
the average person I talk to is making more money than they have in the past. Salaries are up because of inflation and other reasons, also because of opportunities. And I don't know. Obviously, there's a dichotomy between struggling people and.
Right.
I'm at St. Mary's every Wednesday. Groceries family. The line is out the door, 100 people. I'm not trying to minimize the strife of those people, but I think from a working class people, I guess that's interesting. I would think that people that come here from different parts of the country are not looking for a big house, though. They're looking for
and then again, the other exciting housing development is in Scarborough, where the Oak Ridge Housing Authority is working on a 200 unit development, which is would be multifamily and single family in the Scarborough area, and they are continuing to move forward with that, and so.
And I hear problems around that are exagerated. It's really not. There's no displacement. Right.
No gentrification.
So don't believe it. Don't buy into that.
No, it's not. And
anytime you have a big development, that happens.
And Maria Catron is she's a fabulous asset for this city.
Yeah.
The executive director of the Housing Authority, and they continue to have public meetings. I think their next one is open house, which is next week, which they're doing obviously.
I'm telling you, I grew up out there. I mean, I'd go in and out of there as a middle school student and in the beginning of the integration. I mean, that's a beautiful community. It's got the hills on each side.
Lovely.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Scarborough's one of the most beautiful areas of the city.
And what they've done is they've changed their plans to meet the suggestions and the wishes of the current residents.
Good.
In terms of how you fit in the development along, with the existing housing, with the preschool, with, the.
And around the community center, for my age group, the block. Right. But I mean, that whole area, playing basketball over there on the side across the street and doing everything. Talk about history. I mean, it's just as much history as any other area. It makes tremendous history in Scarborough.
But it's important. It's important, and they know what range they're working in terms of their definition of affordable housing. So we're talking about housing stock that people,
Where's the location?
It's over on the back end of Scarborough.
Oak Valley and all that in the back end?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
it's interesting. I need to ride out there and look. But, I mean, I know they're not building yet, but I think it's
no,
interesting.
But
where they're talking about it, right.
They are,
it's just such a valuable asset, that community, to our community. It's a major part of our community. And I say the same thing about Cedar Hill earlier. I mean, everybody's got their own little compacting history. Hey, let's go, Brad. One more break and we'll finish up.
Daniel Forrester has been trusted by Anderson County families for nearly 2 decades. Daniel has appeared in Anderson County Chancery, Circuit, Sessions, and Juvenile Court thousands of times over the past decade. A Rule 31 mediator, Daniel has been trusted to mediate hundreds of cases across Anderson County. A community leader, Daniel has worked closely with local officials to make Anderson County a better place. A conservative and dedicated husband and father, Daniel's faith has shaped his character and integrity. On March 5th, vote Daniel Forrester for Anderson County Chancellor.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Okay, we're back for the last chapter of tonight's show with Warren Gooch. We got more than an hour to talk about. We're going to finish it up, though. So, Warren, in summary, for 10 or 12 minutes, what else more to talk about?
Well, I think another thing that we're going to get done this year is we have not done a new comprehensive plan for the city.
Been a long time.
And it's been almost 35 years.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And so council is committed, and so is the city manager, on bringing that forward so that we can plan for growth, open space, sustainability, development, and it's past time, obviously 35 years is a long time. And so we have a good planning commission and good staff, and so we will continue, to work on that. I think our school system is just outstanding, and I want to say a word about that. I mean, everything we can do to promote them, and they got great grades, across the board from the state evaluators, and the problems that were noted at Woodland are easily correctable, and those were probably overstated in terms of problems. Sure. But we're very fortunate to have the quality of educators that we have, and the support for the Oak Ridge schools with Oak Ridgers. It doesn't go down at all.
And you know me, I can be critical, and I come from private and public states. Critical is a bad word, but I can assess, and I've looked at a lot of stuff. But my son now has been in Oak Ridge High School for 4 years, best test, right? I have been really impressed with people, especially the younger teachers have been hired.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be hiking a mountain and they'll answer my texts and stuff. And he kind of fired me 2 years ago, and he said, "I'll take it from here, stay out of my business." But I said, "Okay." Anyway, so I've been impressed, and he's been impressed. He's had high-level courses, and they've been really good teachers. And now he's taking genetics and biology and advanced this and that, and he struggles, but he wants to take the good stuff and try to do the best he can. He's learned a lot. So I have nothing but praise for the Oak Ridge High School teaching stuff. He wasn't there during the middle school years, or grade school, he's at St. Mary's, but he came prepared, but he has really been challenged at Oak Ridge High School, and I just have had no problem. Of course, he's that kind of kid. He's introverted, doesn't cause problems, but his principal told me about we needed a donation, our class did, to Dawkins, and we were down there with the principal, and he says, "The fact that I don't know who your son is the most positive thing I can say about it." And we were laughing about that. And
I think you mentioned St. Mary's, and people need to understand there's always been a very close working relationship between the Oak Ridge school system and St. Mary's.
Yeah, and they appreciate the quality of St. Mary's education.
It's correct.
And it blends in there. I always tell people, not to take anything away from Oak Ridge, 51% of the students that go to Catholic get a 30 on their ACT. Now that's focused, but they got a big school too. I mean, they got 900 now, so there's a quality of education is very positive. And I think whether you go to Catholic or whether you go to Oak Ridge High School or whether you go anywhere, and that's not taking anything away from Clinton and Anderson County, but I mean, I just think within this city there's a quality of. Whether it's St. Mary's or whether it's our public schools, everybody kind of rises to the challenge.
That is correct, and we've always been committed to provide the absolute best education that we can to a child, regardless of his or her station in life. And I think that's one thing that just makes our community absolutely unique.
Yeah, and it's been interesting with St. Mary's because the migration of the Hispanic community into Oak Ridge and other areas, they've embraced it. And I think I would guess 20% of our grade school now is Hispanic. And there's always language challenges and other things, but we've done really well with that. And of course, that's true with Oak Ridge schools too. And a welcome addition in my book. I mean, we have tremendous working relationships with everybody. So I don't know. I just think I feel really good. And I've been critical in the past, but I feel really good about where Oak Ridge is. I think we got good leaders.
And I think one other thing that I think is very positive. We've passed resolutions, both the City Council and the Anderson County Commission and the Roane County Commission to come together and form an organization that will help us be able to compete.
That's Sean's doing,
and for new initiatives, new companies that are coming out of the nuclear industry, that would be major suppliers for,
and you're talking about the Anderson County mayor, the Roane County mayor, you as the mayor being the leader. I mean, people are getting along.
And put that together again, keeping in mind using a model that's been used by Maryville, Alcoa, Blount County, and they actually included Knoxville in theirs for part of their development. So if we can put the collective political power, if you will, with Anderson County, Clinton, Oak Ridge, and Roane County together, and we're talking about that I-40, I-75, cut through. With development all the way from I-40 to I-75, the land that's available right now, of course, there's more. It's been primarily in the Roane County side, of Oak Ridge,
that's right.
But that wouldn't preclude us working in some type of joint arrangement with Anderson County to help them participate in that too, if we decided we could. And if the Department of Energy decides that they want to make available land that they've held for years, most of that is going also, almost all of it, would be on the west end.
Right.
And so again, looking be able to compete, not just in East Tennessee, but across the state for new companies. And we're talking about substantial companies.
We got 2.5 minutes. We still need things for kids to do in Oak Ridge. I still think we could expand our recreation. If Wilson Street really wants to look at something, getting something that grade school kids and middle school, that area can do. High schoolers, once they got a car, they can figure it out. But I just think that we need more kids.
We need to look at expanding. We've got 70 miles of trails and greenways.
Yes,
but what we need to do is also look at ways to expand playing fields, whether it's for soccer, whether it's for baseball, and look for ways to do that expands opportunities, for our children.
Yeah.
So and young folks. So
any feel for how much the schools have grown? Now, you've got 5,000 more people than you did a decade ago, or 6,000. How many of those are families with children? Do you know how many?
I've got
just roughly. It has gone up. Though, right?
It definitely. It's definitely.
Because you talk about retirees coming in.
One statistic that I failed to get today was what the population is now in the schools, in terms of the total.
I had
total
that
number
in a political research, but it's does 3,500 sound right up in that area somewhere?
No, it's more than that, I think. But regardless.
Yeah, that's not enough.
But regardless, that continues to grow, and and depending on, again, families moving in, families rotating out, the pressure at certain schools is greater 1 year, and it kind of transfers, to next year. But we're clearly going to continue to work very closely, with the school board and school administration.
Okay, you get a pass this year. You don't have to run, right? You ran 22.
That's right. That's right.
So we've got elections. We want to keep building, get good people in there. That's not critical of anybody. It's just any of them can be good. Just to get that done.
City elections will be in November.
And that's right. That's the time to figure out who works and who doesn't work and all that kind of stuff.
Because it used to be held in June, but then we had a charter.
Well, you get more people, you get more participation. It used to be 1,800. We controlled it with a few things.
Yeah.
But let me say this. I appreciate Daniel Forrester being a major sponsor of this show. Sean Gleason, Susanna Navarro, Aura. I mean, we just had a lot of sponsors this last year, and we're getting ready to ramp them back up. But I really appreciate all of those people. And we're going to go. Say bye,
Thank you, my friends. Always good to be with you.
You do a great job. I appreciate you. Thank you, folks.